Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR. And look at that, the ENnies have been announced, the nominees for 2022. And not just if you're an OSR gamer, but if you're a D20 gamer, Pathfinder, 5e for D&D, you're going to see this really jack and shit. Now, I know if you've been on drive through, you've seen the thirsty sword lesbians artwork all over the place, but they got a few nominations. Um, when it comes to Judges Spotlight winners, Kobold Guide to Monsters from Kobold Press won a spotlight, but like the best adventure stuff, I from companies nobody has ever heard of. So therefore, except for Unseelie Studios, which I will admit that I have heard of. Oh, it's no wonder why, because they're DM's Guild. See, now here's the thing. Paizo, Wizards of the Coast, a lot of other publishers of games do not submit to the ENnies, because remember, the ENnies is not really a quality contest. It's a popularity contest. And Paizo and Wizards were winning way too much, so I think they were politely told to step down and step out of the room. So, what do you have left? Well, here's the other thing, too. Unless you're a really small publisher, winning an ENnie is not really going to boost your sales. So, if you're somebody like, oh, I don't know, Troll Lords, Frog God Games, you're not going to, you have to physically submit one, two, three, four, at least 5 copies of your game mailed to 5 different addresses. It's expensive, especially when you have people who are international. I haven't followed the judges in a while, ever since at least they got rid of their nepotism aspect, where the same judge would always get their free shit, and then, oh, okay, my spouse will now do it. So at least they got away from that. Okay? But remember, to be a judge, you could not be published. But if you're not published, how do you know what is actually good? Especially when you're rotating these judges around, it literally could mean the guy at your game table who never talks could, well, maybe not, because again, being a judge is a popularity contest. You got to mobilize social media. So, best adventure, I really couldn't give a flying F. Best aid accessory digital. Call of Cthulhu 3D digital gamer props, Mask of Nyarlathotep. I can never pronounce that right. That's something we probably be interested in hearing about. Mork Borg digital monster generator. Okay. I don't know. Nothing else really. What about non-digital? Call of Cthulhu classic prop set from the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society. Cool. City of Mist, I've heard about. Fate Accessory Toolkit. Best cover art. Well, you can be damn well sure Thirsty Sword lesbians are there. Really. Best cover art. Now, if I next year were foolish enough to submit Continue a Light, do you think that cover would win best cover art? I think it would deserve to. Doesn't mean it will, right? Because again, this is to a large extent a popularity contest. Best art interior, The One Ring. Okay. Historia, a dark fantasy Renaissance setting for 5e. Never heard of this project. Sounds interesting. Shame I never heard about it. And of course, Thirsty Sword lesbians are right back there, getting tongue tied. City of Mist comes back with their crime board, also under cartography. Cult. Oh my god, Cult is a game from my initial days of gaming. Cult Labyrinths and Secret Chambers. Okay, best cartography. Best electronic book. Wooden Night Strahd. I'm going to guess that is. Oh, it isn't the DM's Guild. I was going to say. Slight Flourish makes it there with the Lazy DM's Companion. Okay. And I thought Swordfish Island said it's for 5e. So, but hey, at least it's something that is classic fantasy gaming related, right? Best family game. I'm just gonna go right through that because ain't never heard of any of them. Best free game. Champions Begins. Hero Games. All right. Only one I can recognize. Oh, I guess A Vampire the Masquerade New Year's Eve Story. Renegade Game Studios. Old Sangwan. Best games. Uh, again, I've seen Root and Thirsty Sword Lesbians mentioned numerous times on social media, but beyond that, don't know any of them. And for Magpie Games and Evil Hat have a bit of a following, so I'm going to guess one of those two is going to be the ones that will win best game because that's where the votes come from. Best layout and design, Delta Green, and it's Call of Cthulhu 2D20 Game Master's Guide. I think that line got discontinued. I think COC, Octung Cthulhu, I think they brought back the IP just to Chaosium. Putrescent Regnant. All right, this is Exalted Funeral Press. That may be something that would fit within our gaming niche. Best Monster Adversary book. Nightfell best story for 5e. On drive-through. Everything else, Best online content, Sly Flourish's blog. Maybe get a vote from people. He kind of crosses over with systems. He's almost systemless. Best organized play. Well, best organized play apparently means best from the DMs Guild, because everything here is from the DMs Guild. Best podcast. I've heard of none of them. Not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. It's just that you don't find Save for Half or Save or Die or Thackle's Hammer. I'm not even talking about mine. Mine never deserved it. Best production values. A whole lot of crap for Call of Cthulhu classic prop set. You notice that certain things pop up multiple times, right? Best RPG related product. Cult makes it back. Everway Silver Anniversary Edition. I did not even realize I had those cards, and and I didn't have those cards. Shadows of Estern. Adeline CD. I didn't even know that game was still being published. Go figure. Best rules. Well, here's a whole lot of nothing. And it could be good stuff, but these are small companies. Okay? So if the ENnies are the best of everything, they're not the best of everything. They're the best of the small now. Best setting. Again, Historia, I hadn't heard about it. Might need to check it out. Best supplement. Call of Cthulhu, Cult of Cthulhu, Chaosium. Nice to see Chaosium make the list. City of Mist, Shadows and Showdowns. City of Mist looks interesting. Roots on the list. Best writing. Dune, Adventures in the Imperium, core rulebook. That would be. I was never a huge Dune fan. I don't think I made it past the first couple of chapters in the original book, but still. Cult makes return. Product of the year. Well, aside from the Call of Cthulhu classic prop set and Dune, there's really nothing. I mean, I'm going to guess it's going to be Thirsty Sword Lesbians. If I had to make a prediction, that's not where I would put my vote. That's where I suspect we're going to see the vote. That is Fred Hicks and Evil Hat. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I really have such lack of interest in the ENnies these days. ENnies used to be interesting. ENnies used to look at it and go, oh, hey, this is a product I'm interested in checking out. Now I look at it and I go, These are projects I not only never heard of, I'm not interested in checking out. These are things that would have in the past been available, like on Indie Press Revolution. These are, and I'm not saying they're bad games, but I'm not saying that they are any winning, because ENnies used to mean the best, but it no longer means the best when the best no longer participate. And since you have to mail at your own expense copies out to all the judges, you have to opt in. So there's a lot of good stuff out there that is never going to win an ENnie because it's never going to get submitted. And to me, there's something wrong with that system, personally. That's my view. It does not need to be your view. But I'd like to hear what does an ENnie get. Does winning an ENnie and having that little ENnie medallion stamp on your product, does that sell additional copies? Is it worth it? Does it sell enough to make up for the fact that you got to send out 5 or 6 copies to the judges across the world? Is there a cost back? Because if all it is, oh, look at me, I don't know. I guess it's never been my motivation. So I'd like to hear your thoughts. Folks, on that note, we are still in the midst of the world of COVID. I know there's somebody out there who's very upset that I don't say I'm not your father. I'm not going to wipe your ass. But hey, use your common sense. All right? That's what it's about, right? Using your common sense. Be safe, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. I will be back again tonight, 8 p.m., with the random generated party. However, on the Goodman Games Twitch channel, there is a benefit auction kicking off at the same time. If you're not going to spend time with us, I strongly suggest you spend time with the auction. It's it's for a good cause, and there's good things, good items available. All right, folks. On that note, I am out of here.